First of all, before I do start with the answers to your question, I would like to thank Principal Sir, ma'am, and most importantly, Ritu ma'am and Manish ma'am for inviting me for this very important conclave on entrepreneurs, because I think coming back to your school is in itself is a dream of every student, right? So I think 20 years back I had a lots of things which I'm able to recall, right? This AI lab is supposed to be my computer lab, right? So we used to come here with a very excited, because at that time I was in 4th standard, and at that time I think computer lab was just introduced at that time. So I remember the discipline that we used to have, because we need to take out our shoes and socks, and we just used to go inside, and at that time Logo was very popular, right? Programming and logic. So I think for that one period I was very excited. Even though I was involved in lots of activities, especially sports, because I used to represent the zone at the zone level. 2-time handball champion our school was at that time, and I had the opportunity to lead when I was in 9th standard, right? So all those things was there. So I think, as you had asked me that how do you think about coming to this field? So I just want to tell you one thing, because this is a very important thing. That not comes instantly to your mind, frankly saying, right? Because I think we were just like you, right? I was just like you. I was also a student. I didn't know anything about that, what I have to do in my life. I used to, wake up, coming to the school, right? Doing what the things were scheduled in the timetable. All those things were there. But one thing was certain, that I had enjoyed my school life a lot. The reason being because teachers were fantastic, right? Still we are in the touch on that, because teachers were fantastic. We used to respect our teachers a lot, right? Right. So that is the one thing that I think still, with me right now in my journey. So I think after passing the school, I then went to another school to complete the 11th and 12th standard. Then I graduated. But at the time of the graduation, I had a little bit of things coming out late in the mind that what I did. Because specifically my father had a dream, right? So whatever I am right now, my father had a dream that we should become a professor, right? So I said that because I used to go to textbooks. I did not have the textbooks of parents, right? Who I did also have. So, but I had one thing in my mind, that what my parent is saying, I have to listen to them, right? Even though I had a different goal in my life, I used to become a film director. I was very interested in the literature, right? I can tell you one incident that when I went to Kendriya Vidyalaya Tagore Garden to complete my 11th and 12th. At that time, Fitri and all those, those who promote there, they came to our school, and they had a good session to, that many people can enroll to their cooking centers, right? So everything finished there, and the speaker asked, do anybody has any question there to ask? I said, yes, I have one question. But I want to become a film director. What I can do for that? So he just stared at me and said, get out. Okay. So because I think that is a different scenario, but I think still what I had, that I had enrolled to a different, drama society, literature society, debate society, right? So all those events, all those activities just prepared me for the next role, right? Because for all those, in order to excel all those things, you do require to discipline yourself. But discipline is very much important, right? And one thing is very important, because I thought at one time, see, at this young stage, there are many things that is still coming to your mind, right? That I would do this thing, I would do that thing. Sometimes you have a lots of fascination, whatever you see in the movies. But I think at this stage, I think two things are very clear in the mind of the people. One is the sports, and another is the movies, right? So whatever the thing, you used to derive inspiration from them, right? So if you find that somebody had performed very well, you just try to dream to become like Kumar, right? So that is the restricted dream right? I also had all those things. So as the time passed actually, So I realized one thing for sure, right? That is that first I need to support myself, right? I can't live with the dreams. I have some concrete, implementation of the roadmap. That how first I would survive myself. Then rest of the things are there, right?
Students in class 10 who has a problem-solving idea, what is the very first practical step they should take to test if the idea has potential or not?
Come out with the 6 things right now. That is very much required whenever you are going to, start a company or entrepreneurship. If you want to support any company, right, or new startups, first thing is the education. Because likewise, I think all the students are sitting here, they do like to hear this word, startup. Wow, startup? Yes, I want to do something in the startup area. Right? Is it that? Is it that? Yes. But you don't have the idea how to start it. Yeah, right. So, what happens that you need to first educate. Educate in the manner that what is startup? What are its dynamics? What are its concepts? Right? So I think at the school level too, I would suggest that you should try to come out with some curriculum, right? Some course to provide them a basic education of the startups and the entrepreneurship, right? So they can at least know that what the things they have to do. The second thing is the ideation. Ideation is the idea, generation of the idea, right? So I always say to people who want to do something in the startup area, I always tell them that try to think the worst of the worst ideas, right? I am there to make it good, right? So don't hesitate to come up with the ideas, right? So think about what you can do, right? An idea doesn't come instantly; it has a process, right? So the common process is the observation, right? You just try to figure out what the best things is coming out there in the market, right? Likewise, in fact, you have to look out at the problem. Observation is the best thing that you can do, right? And that thing need to be discussed with someone, right? So that incubation means what? That we can come up with our ideas and we need to work over that. So how we can work over that? So you have educated yourself, you have given out your idea. Now what is the next step? The thing is to validate whether your idea would work or not. Right. For the validation, we have heard, the stage that is called training. You do need some kind of training. Training of what? Just think about it. See, if you have the idea, how can maybe you would have the greatest idea in your mind, but what happens that you need some fund, some support, right? Without that, you can't initiate anything, right? So who would fund for you? How the investors would feel confidence to invest in it? So they need some proposal, right? Some prototype, right? A prototype where you can define, this is my idea, this is a roadmap. In this year, I think these days Shark Tank is quite popular, right? So I think no one has seen Shark Tank, right? So in Shark Tank, I think what is the procedure? The procedure is that first whoever comes for pitching, new pitch, idea pitch. So they first try to tell what they have done, right? Thereafter, they talk about that what the judges ask. They ask, have you ever earned anything? What is your revenue? They ask for the revenue. Why revenue? Because they just need to know that your idea has generated some productive thing or not. And whether your business is in loss or the profit. If it is profitable, still you are making loss, then they have there also, they say that no problem, even your business is in a loss, we are there because we find your idea very promising. So if you get this kind of the support, your business can run into, it can go into the profit. So the thing is that how the investors can get the confidence in you, for that you need to build a prototype. So training is out there for building the prototype, and thereafter you have, some acceleration program. Acceleration means just try to figure out the gaps. Whatever you have proposed the things, you need to figure out the gaps, and that can only come with a smart mentorship. You do require mentors, right? So through the incubation centers running throughout the countries these days, they are trying to provide the mentors, right? So the mentors help you to figure out the gaps and work over it and see, without starting anything, you can't ask for the funding. First, you need to implement it at the ground level. For some particular year, you need to look out for the profits or whatever the revenues that are coming up, because without that, nobody can have the confidence over the business, right? And then the funding comes. So funding is the fifth stage, right? Funding comes at the fifth stage, right? So how will you get the funding, right? So for that, you need some, some platforms where you can discuss your ideas, where you can present your ideas. So we have expos, startup expos, right? So right now we are also having the startup expo on the 20th and the 21st, for especially for the women entrepreneurs. But I think such startups do exist at the various corners, various parts of the country, right? So you can just look out you can check online. There will be many expos are there where you can present your ideas. You look out for the opportunities there, funding opportunities. So that is the entire process that you should go through. So what I do, I suggest that if anybody is interested in doing the startup, you should start the education, and that comes to the school, because I think school provides you that platform now where you can prepare yourself in a better way, right? There you get a foundation, right?